I changed my mind. I can't upload these videos to BookTube. Everyone's gonna think I'm insane. Oh, I can't upload this to BookTube. And BookTube, if you're seeing this, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading now. I'm sorry to anybody who's watching. We are recording. Hello, everyone. Thank you for clicking on this video. Were you expecting two potatoes? Yes, because it's in the thumbnail. But today I am here with my wonderful little sister, August. August,
Hello.
say hello. Um, August and I read a book together because for the first time we live in different cities and we thought it would be fun to read the same book and like call each other and talk about it, specifically of the mystery thriller genre,
Yes.
because you can theorize and, point out sus characters and stuff like that. So we thought we'd have like fun with it. Um, Turns out we both do not like this book at all. And late one night when I was reading, I was a little bit ahead of August. I sent her Snapchats of me in potato filter, ranting about the book, and then it just turned into this. And now here we are, and we're going to review the book together.
Yes, and this will be a regular thing, our potato reviews.
Yes, because we have a whole list of books that we want to read. We'll be reading throughout the year, and we'll just come out with potato videos every once in a while talking about the books. I can't wait.
I'm so
Mom is
excited.
gonna love this. Hi, Mom.
Oh, mom's gonna love this. Hi, Jen.
Gosh.
Cut that out.
Uh,
She's gonna get mad. I used her government. She's gonna be mad.
I'm not editing it out. Okay. So, we read Perfect Little Children by Sophie Hannah. Quick little summary about it to get you started in this. A woman named Beth used to be best friends with this woman named Flora and her husband Louis, along with Beth's husband Dom. One day, Beth is taking her like 15-year-old son to football practice, and she drives down the street where Flora and Louis used to live, and she is reminiscing because she hasn't seen them for over 10 years, and for some mysterious reason, their friendship has ended. So she's like taking a trip down memory lane, being like, wow, what a great friendship that I once had. As she does so, she sees their old house and sees Flora, her friend. Then Flora's getting out of the car, and as Flora's getting out of the car, two kids are also getting out of the car, um, but they somehow have not aged. They're the same age as when she last saw them 10 years ago, which does not make sense. Sends the main character in a spiral trying to figure out how come Flora's children have not aged. Now, before we get into talking about any of this, I do want to issue some content warnings. There, a content warning for death of a child, for miscarriage, sexual assault, manipulation. Um, yes, I just want to put that up front. I do not think the author wrote any of these well at all. That was one reason why I DNF'd, was because these are some serious heavy topics, and I do not think the author researched well or like talked to anybody about any of these. I just didn't like it. So
Exactly, and that's not something we're jazzed about reading, so that's also why we put this book down, because it really came as a shock to us.
yeah, yeah.
Especially when you read like the summaries of the book, nothing alludes to this heavy of content.
Yeah, yeah. If anything, it sounds like we're gonna take a trip to sci-fi, and
And that's what we
we
hope. That's why
strongly
we picked
don't.
up the book.
Yeah, yeah. But we do not, do not.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's not sci-fi. It's worse. I mean, sci-fi's great, but it takes a bad turn. So, August, where would you like to start talking about this book?
Where do we even begin?
I,
I guess we could just start with the general, just how I get speechless, how unlikable Beth, the main character, is.
sh-
And not like an unlikable main character as in, oh, like they're written so well, but the way they do this and this I don't like. Like unlikable in every sense of the word.
she really is. I would say, insufferable
Insufferable.
is a good word to describe her. Beth goes down this rabbit hole of being like,
Mhm.
why haven't these kids aged? And she says the same things to her husband and her children over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm someone who,
Exactly.
I like repetition in stories. I'm a big fan, whether nonfiction or fiction. I like when it's purposeful repetition and it's like part of the storytelling. This was strongly not that. It was just the character and her husband having an exact same conversation to where sometimes I would just skip chapters because I was like, I know what she's gonna say to her husband.
Me too. That was the exact same issue. It would have been different if new clues were presented
Yes.
to then help even the reader be confirmed in her obsession with these children.
Mm-hmm.
But without any new clues besides her just seeing them, it's like, what is wrong with this woman?
Yeah.
The
Or a
way she's
sense.
like, every scene, them sitting down, I have a crazy story to tell you. Tells the story, they theorize of what it could be. Then let's rope the daughter in. The daughter comes in. We have a crazy story to tell you. And it's that for like 10 chapters.
It really is. The main character Beth is like instantly when she sees that the children
Obsessed.
hasn't aged, yeah, she's obsessed and she instantly thinks the children are in danger.
Hmm.
But nothing suggested that the children were in danger. So she goes to extreme lengths to like try to reach out to Flora and Lewis and find where they are, and her husband finds out that they actually live in Florida. And and he's like, see, cool, like let it go. She was like, no, those children are in danger. So she it like goes around and stalks the neighborhood again to the point to where the neighbors
Yes.
are like, if you come back, we're calling the cops.
Yeah, one neighbor watches out her window and is like, "You've been here twice. Why are you here?" And she's like, "I have this crazy story to tell you."
Yeah.
She then tells the neighbor what she already told us 3 other times in the book. And the neighbor is like, "You need to leave and never come back."
Hmm.
And she goes, "But just tell me, like, what's the name of the people that live there? And I'm worried about these kids." And the neighbor's just like, "I'm not giving you anyone's personal information in
Yeah.
the neighborhood."
Yeah. Like, what? So she does that, then she like uh she she goes to the library to use Facebook by her son's instructions and try to find Flora and Lewis. And I think she also just does like a general Google search on him to find that he's like CEO of this tech company and he has a lot of money now. And she's like, okay, cool. He's like rich and famous now. As she's leaving the library with really the same information her husband found the
Hmm.
chapter previous because he went on their home computer and did all of this already. But I guess she had to do it for herself at the library. As she's walking out of the library, no shade to libraries. I'm just I'm just annoyed with the character. I'm sorry. As she's leaving, she sees Flora in the parking lot. Flora, in her bootcut jeans or whatever, takes off running. And she's trying to run after her. And she finds the car that Flora was driving and uh, decides to get in the car.
Yeah, because that's a reasonable thing to do when
Of
you're
course,
literally chasing someone.
chasing
And she
someone.
in the inner monologue's like, I just gotta sit here and like wait. And
Yeah,
it's like, wait
yeah.
for what?
And then she falls asleep.
She
Um,
falls, and that's the other thing. I'm like, if you're in pursuit, this is my eye twitch, my potato eye twitch. If you're in pursuit and you're trying to crack a mystery, how do you go take a nap?
right?
Like, how you just falling asleep
In someone
in
else's
some
car.
lady's car?
And the lady does come up and is like, "What are you doing in my car?" And the main
It's
character,
not Flora.
yeah, it's not Flora. By the way, it's another woman, who kind of looks like Flora. The woman's like, "What are you doing in my car?" And Beth is like, "Oh my god, all these questions. Like, I'm living my life. Like, And Beth is like irritated at her for being so upset. And the woman's like, get out of the car. And she's like, no, I'm looking for my friend I haven't seen in 10 years, but I saw her kids and they haven't aged. And it's like, think about this for a second. Then, um, she this all blows up. This woman calls her husband. Beth calls her husband. The husbands try to have a time for the wives to meet so that Beth can like apologize. And her Beth's husband is like, I cannot believe you sat in some random person's car and fell asleep. And she responds, the sentence is Dom, period. I, period, fell, period, asleep, period, in a car, period. You're being overdramatic. Is he
So after this pursuit, or maybe before this, she decides to look up like where they would send these kids to school.
Yeah,
Because that's not public info. So she's like, okay, looking where would Lewis, since he's pretentious,
yeah,
send his son? And also the whole book, they're setting up Lewis as the obvious bad guy. And
yeah.
the author does it in a funny way where it's like the character is now reflecting on things, interactions she's had with them, but
Mm.
she's just now understanding that everything he says is like misogynistic. Like
Mm-hmm.
women
Mm-hmm.
belong in the home, am I right, Dom? Like to her husband, and they like laugh it off. And she's like, I'm just now realizing that he's mean.
Yeah.
It's
To
like
her
it takes
teenage
him,
daughter, she's
yeah,
realizing all of this.
and it takes him saying that like these stories that they have with, I'm like, he sounds like the most insufferable person. And they go on vacations with him. He makes a big deal about a hotel, like not having a pool
Yeah.
and using another hotel's pool and like buying the hotel because he's so angry. Like just the most outlandish stuff. She's like, you know what? He's pretty bad. And then it's like, yeah, he turns out to be the bad guy. But going back to the school, she's like, I'm gonna go to the school. And she just rolls up and I'll let Emma take it away.
So she rolls up with her daughter, her teenage daughter, who's wearing a shirt that says gang shit.
And we don't like how the teenage daughter is written. And the way
Yeah.
she prefaces this, so as we're about to walk in the school, I'm just now noticing that her shirt says gang shit. I'm like, you're just now noticing that her shirt says gang shit? Also, I work with teenagers. No one's wearing a shirt that says gang shit on it. That's just not, and no one's like wanting to go to schools with their mom following these cases. Like these kids don't have the attention span when I tell them don't go outside. So there's no there's no way they're rolling around with their parents looking for
Investigate
clues.
investigating. Yeah. But
They do not
so
care.
Beth decides a way for her to get confirmation that the kids go to this school is to pretend like she's dropping something off for one of them. So she has a random backpack in the back. She goes to the front desk and she's like, "Hi, I'm dropping this backpack off for Thomas, which is one of the kids.
Hmm.
Can you just let his mom know that I dropped it off?" And the front desk lady's like, sure. What's your name and contact information so we can tell his mom that you dropped it off?" And Beth is like, "Oh,
Beth is like shaking in her boots. She's like, I
yeah.
didn't think
Why do
she'd
you need
ask me that.
that?
I'm
Yeah,
like, it's a school, mama. You walked up in a school with an empty duffel bag
yeah.
talking about, let me see them kids.
Like what? And so her daughter responds that like, oh, she's Beth. I think the last name's Lesson.
Yeah.
Lesson.
Hmm.
And the woman's like, okay. And then Beth is like, oh, just real quick, can you confirm Thomas's address? And the lady's like, no, I can't give that information out. And then Beth is like, she's hiding something because she
Yeah,
doesn't
Beth
want to
says she's
lose her
hiding something.
job.
And she goes, what about his mom? Does she have a foreign accent? And the lady's like, what?
Yeah, she's asking all these clues because turns out like the woman that she sat in the car with, that's these kids' mom, but she doesn't believe it. She believes the real Flora like hired people to pretend to be her or to pretend to be the parents to her kids who look like they have not aged. So that's what she's like fishing around for,
Hmm.
and she thinks that this front desk lady has all the information and is choosing not to disclose it because she fears for her job instead of like the fact that she walked up to a school and then
A
asked,
school.
"Can you tell me where this kid lives?" And that's where the potato came in, because I was reading this chapter. This is chapter 9, y'all. Also, I was reading this chapter and I was screaming because this uh like front desk job is what August does. So I was just picturing her if someone came up and was like, "Hey, I know this kid kind of is a long story. Anyway, where does he live? What's his address?"
Bro, I would be panicking. I would be like, get out. And it's so funny because then she goes, okay, I have to tell you the truth to the front desk lady. She's
Yeah.
like, that duffel bag is my son's, not Thomas's. And well, it's a long story, but long story short, and she goes into the whole monologue, even though she said it's a short story. She tells the whole thing and then goes, I'm worried about the kids, and I think you are too. And I was just picturing myself in that situation since that's my job. And if a lady gave me that monologue, like I'd be on the walkie and I'd be like, security.
Seriously though, for
I'd be like,
real. Like, we gotta go. This is
what? I'd be like, ma'am, this is a school. That's a response I had to start saying to people.
that.
Because sometimes people will just get into your school. And I'm like, I didn't buzz you through the gate. And this man walks in. He goes, hey, yo, what's your Wi Fi? Like, I'm trying to get an Uber. And I go, sir, this is a school. Like, people
Oh
really just
my
be
god.
walking in. So I wouldn't be surprised if this happened, but I would be shook.
Yeah, if someone was actually saying this, good gracious. Then the other problem that we have is then after this school scene, Beth goes home to her husband and has the same conversation. I saw the kids and
Same one.
they didn't age and I'm worried about their safety and where is Flora even though maybe she's in Florida. I don't know. Also, I just noticed Flora in Florida.
That's
That
interesting.
just occurred to me. Anyway, so, she's going on this spiral again. But then we get to the chapter that made me go, I'm done. DNF. Now, what's funny is sweet little August went to Goodreads, read some reviews, came across a review that was like, did they also DNF it?
I don't know. It doesn't, a lot of people don't specify that on Goodreads.
Gotcha.
I think
They
they finished it and they were like, I just can't get over this one chapter. Like, why was this in here?
So she decided, I'm gonna let Emma read and get to that chapter, and I have a feeling she'll just let me know when she gets to that, and then I'll decide if I'm gonna read or not. So that's what happened.
Exactly.
I get to this chapter. Here we go. Setting the scene. Beth gets a call from her husband. Her husband is like, our daughter, whose name is Xana, they call her Zan. I don't think we've mentioned that. But Xana is at school and needs you to go to the school. It's an emergency, but not an emergency. You have to park at the specific parking spot, wait for her to text you instructions. So she does. And I just think there's no way that would have went down with our mom, at least. There's no way we could have called our dad and been like, it's an emergency, but not just tell mom to get here. And mom wouldn't have called and been like, tell me what the heck is going on right now.
Yeah,
But
there's no way.
so she does. She gets to the parking spot. She then gets like written instructions from her daughter that like she has to go around the school and then turn right here and then climb in a window and then she'll
A
be in
lot
this
of
art
school
room.
stuff going on in this
A
book.
lot of schools.
As someone who works at a school, please don't.
Please stay
Please
away.
don't come
Please
here.
far away. So she gets there and Zan has a video to show her. Zan and her boyfriend, what's her boyfriend's name? Murad?
Yeah.
Zan and her
I think so.
boyfriend Murad are eating paninis during their study hour or something. And this teacher goes up to Murad and is like, you can't eat that in here. And he's like, well, it's my lunch and I'm gonna eat it. It's a panini. I'm gonna live my best. And the teacher is like, aren't you disappointing yourself and your family and your religion by eating a panini that has bacon on it? And Zan starts crying and filming the teacher calling her racist, and the teacher's like, I'm not racist, it's a serious question. Then Murad says, my mom is white and my dad is only kind of sort of Muslim, so it's fine. I get I that his rebuttal was weird. But then I think he starts crying. Something happens with him. Then the video ends as they're both scream crying at the teacher. Then Beth or Zan is afraid that she's gonna get expelled or that the teacher is gonna get expelled. And she doesn't know what to do. And Beth is like, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna win. So she storms into the principal's office and confronts the teacher on her racism and says some things that were really confusing that I don't remember right now because I just like blocked it out of my mind. And then at the end, the principal's like, "Oh, you're right. That teacher was really racist." And then Beth like looks over at Zan and goes, "We won." And then the scene ends, and we're back to, gosh, it's just so weird how those kids haven't aged.
With
And I just
so we're now at what? Chapter 12. No new clues. No
16. This is chapter
information.
16.
This is
This is
16.
16.
Oh, I did not make it there.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Because it's still the exact same thing.
And
I just,
it just
oh.
wasn't handled well. Also, why?
Ooh. Hmm?
Like why did she feel the need to write that? Because it wasn't done well.
Oh,
Also,
exactly. It's kind of like when people are like, we want more diversity, like in our books. So you just sprinkle in a chapter
yeah, one
and
chapter.
it's about racism. Like, what?
It was just it just it I was just like I'm at a loss for words because I wasn't, one, expecting this. Two,
Yeah.
it wasn't written well. Like it just was not constructed well. I had a lot of questions. Why didn't Murad's parents handle it?
Mm.
Why did this random white lady have to handle it? And then end the chapter with, we won. And then Zan was like, "Oh my god, mom, you're such a hero," and like, you saved the day. And now they're like, it was just very like, why did this get written in? And so then I DNF'd it.
Yeah, and all the Goodreads comments were like, I just can't get over that one chapter,
Yeah.
that random chapter of the school. They're like, I just don't understand what it did for the story, for the character development.
Yeah.
Every Goodreads comment was like, what is this?
And the
And it's
boyfriend's also
wild.
never in the book. His name is
Never.
mentioned at the very beginning because Zan is like texting him or like gets off the phone with him. And that's the only mention. And then chapter 16, this is the only time that we see him, is when a teacher has a racist comment.
Hmm.
And then Beth comes in and saves the day.
Girl,
And I just
it's
had
just
a lot of
wild.
questions. I just had,
And so while I was investigating Goodreads,
oh,
that's when I also read, because I went through the spoilers, because I'm like, at this point, I don't know if Emma and I are going to keep reading this.
yeah.
And that's when I found trigger warnings for all this content. And I go, what? Because the book is setting it up like this man is in Florida and he works at this tech company and they started this other tech company. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, like they're cloning these kids.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
then you're like, this is so exciting. Like, what's going on? Why are these kids growing? Like, you're like getting so excited. But then you're 16 chapters in and there's no new clues or
No new
like
clues.
dialogue, just a ton of hints at random things that still aren't clues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it turns out to be murder and like all these heavy things, but just at the end. So the whole time you're just your mind, I guess that, okay, Sophie Hannah, one thing you're really good at is letting the mind imagine. I had this whole sci-fi theme in
Ah,
my little head.
me
I was
too.
like, oh my gosh, clones, tech company, they're actually just living like the same year over and over. I was thinking, oh, and like they just don't age and they found an elixir for life. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Sophie Hannah, one thing you're good at, girl, is giving my mind possibilities. But then at the end, you took them all away and you said, nope, it's about trauma, murder.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't, my mind was in a different place. So I think that's a big reason why we don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who like it a lot, but it's just not my cup of tea, girl.
Yeah. And the ending, the main character, plot twist, is Lewis. Who
It's Lewis,
who would have
babe.
thought?
He's the bad guy.
He does a bad guy monologue. And literally, once he reveals information of what he did, which is murdering his own child,
Hmm.
um, he then looks at the main character and goes, "Mind blown, right?" And that I don't like, because I did skim to the end and read the end,
Yeah,
or
me too.
tried to, and then I was
Hmm.
like, I can't read any more of this. But I
Yeah, it's
tried
a
to
whole,
for the video, just in case we
yeah.
wanted to talk about it. But
Hmm.
it's like the last two chapters, I think it is just him explaining what he did. Basically,
Yes.
he wanted a perfect family,
Hmm.
and his last child in his eyes was not perfect, so he decided to murder, and then blamed his wife, and then forced her to have a new set of kids with the same names to redo the perfect family and blame her for not having, in his eyes, the perfect family. And it just wasn't written well. Like
It was so odd.
I have so many words and yet am at a loss for words because that it just wasn't done well. And there were a couple scenes where a character or the main character was talking about losing a child, and it was not written good. I was irate when reading it, and that was close to the beginning, and that's when I was like, if this comes up again, I can't read this because this is disrespectful. It was disrespectful. That's the word I've been looking for. It was disrespectful to me. I thought so. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I love a good like bad guy monologue, but this one was even too long. Like the whole
It was two
chapter. And
chapters.
then it's the whole time it's like, don't shoot us. And then he's like, well, I also did all this. And they're like, okay, well, don't shoot us. Like they're at
Yeah.
gunpoint the whole time.
Yeah. This book goes in
So the
circles.
sequencing's kind of funny. And then he's just so demeaning. He's like, yeah, you never let go, Beth. Flora, let's go. She's weak. And it's like, what? It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It's something else.
It was weird. It was
Really
just it just
weird.
wasn't good because you we were so set up to think that it was like some sci-fi parallel universe perhaps, elixir for life type of way, and then it just strongly wasn't, and it was weird, a weird manipulative murderous story, and
Hmm.
it just wasn't giving. Just
Yeah, it was not giving.
it was not giving. It was not giving. So the potato had to come out.
Hmm.
And I realize talking about heavy topics while as a potato,
Maybe not our best move.
not our best move. But I was sending August potato reviews while
Before we
reading
knew all of
chapter
this.
9. Yeah, then all of this developed, and then we read the end, and then we were like, oh, and we're already potatoes.
Yeah.
So don't mash us.
No, but yeah. So not what we were looking for in a book,
No, no,
unfortunately.
yeah.
I made it about 40% through.
I made it 60 something percent.
Wow.
I think 61%.
Yeah, Perfect Little Children, a novel. So I think it's safe to say we don't recommend.
Yeah, no.
We are excited to
One star.
potato review a book that we enjoy together. That will be a ton of fun.
It'll be so much fun.
Then
We
we
have a
can
list.
dive. Yeah, because we can then dive into like the theories we have. Because it
Yeah.
was fun coming up with theories for this before we knew that it
Yeah.
was so
Oh, we were
traumatic.
having so much fun. In the like
So like
chapter 1 to 2, we were like, "Ooh."
every line, I was like, "Did you hear that? A tech company, bitch! Like a tech company." They're cloning out here. And she was like, yep. They're not
Mhm.
actually in Florida. They're like in the basement of the house in the UK. Like all those photos are Photoshop. Like
Yeah. 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 So,
crazy.
it wasn't great. I don't know. We haven't decided on a book next,
Mm-mm.
but we'll be deciding soon so that we can come at you with a potato review. My plan is, when we get halfway through the next book, to make a potato video so that we can talk and theorize. Theor fries. Sorry.
Did you plan these? That
It
one was
didn't, it was
really
off the
good.
dome.
Your fries.
Off
I
the
love
spud.
that one.
Oh my god. And then we'll come with another video, wrapping it all up, what we thought, and then like our full review. So you'll get theor fries,
Hmm?
and then you'll get final video. What's a pun to make the final video?
I don't know. Mm,
We'll think about it because I can't think about it right now. But thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, potato emojis in the comments.
please.
If you read Perfect Little Children, how did you feel? Uh, and if you have any recommendations of books you would want us to read, also let us know. We'll be
Ooh.
happy to add them to our list.
Mm-hmm.
August, do you have anything you want to plug or shout out or, anything?
Not quite yet. We're cooking. We're
Ooh,
cooking.
ooh,
Cooking some things.
okay.
Hopefully, I'll be on YouTube soon. You never know.
A.
But updates to come in the future.
Okay, cool. Well, sounds good. You can like and subscribe if you would like and comment. You can follow me on Twitch, which I have a link down below. I have my Instagram account
Okay.
listed down below as well as Storygraph and Goodreads. And yeah, thank y'all so much for coming. And we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.